activities, they've already paid the fee.
Right.
So the chances are most of them are.
I think we should give it a try.
I'm all for adding as many. This is very popular at the middle school too. I know they have 30, 40 kids who participate in this in the spring.
And girls and boys
play the same team. Yeah.
It's not really school.
It's an extracurricular, even fees less than school.
Okay, do I have a motion for approval?
Yes, motion to approve.
The Ultimate Frisbee Club on a pilot basis.
Pilot basis for the high school.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Baca, second by Mr. Derby. Any questions?
I just think that through the principal, we should
Commend these kids to put this
recognize
together,
these
yes.
two kids.
Yeah.
You know, we have that new leadership academy. We're trying to encourage kids to formulate ideas and bring them forward. And these two kids should get some kind of.
Right. Not only did they tell you why they wanted to do it and why it's a good idea, but they also explained to us what the rules are, how big the field is.
Yeah, and they came forward.
Right. And so it's
What are their names?
Evan Kelly and Ricky Schaefer are the two.
And the spelling on here.
Right, we have the spelling on here if you want to see it. So, but it's a great idea and a great job by these two students. Okay, so I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Approval of the annual report. Yes. Given that I had a snow day of work at home, I had a chance to read the annual report today.
Good thing it snowed.
I still
know.
had time to read it.
I actually found
on Friday.
I found a couple of things. David, on page 2, the next to last paragraph, where it says the school committee and the school finance strategies committee, it should say worked.
Page 2.
Yeah, page 2, next to last paragraph, it says the school committee and the school finance strategies committee worked. Then the other thing I had was on the top of page 3, where you talk about the town was notified that the Bash School was one of 7 school projects. I just think you should put in there that it was notified by the Mass School Building Authority or Association, whatever they're calling it, so we know who we were notified by. That's all I had. Mr. Derby, you had a few?
On page 4, Mrs. Vaca and Mr. Webster were reelected 2 3-year terms, and strike the A in front of 3-year terms. And the very last item on members actively participated, I never went to a meeting of the Special Parent Activity Council, so I would ask you to delete that line.
Anybody else have anything on the?
And didn't do any last year.
Anybody else have anything on the school committee's 2007 annual report? David, this appears in the book that the town puts out every year.
David, did you put anything about the bachelor receiving that award? That be something?
Oh, that's a good idea.
That's a
Very
good idea.
good.
Yeah, I'm just thinking.
That's a very good idea. Anything else?
Motion to approve with the added mention of Bachelor Award.
And amendments.
And the amendments.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Baca, seconded by Mr. Derby. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Yes.
Thanks, Jerry.
Very good. Next we have bills and payrolls. I don't think they're all signed, are they?
Yes,
Oh, they are?
we're all set.
Okay.
Excuse me, I'm going to say, you approved the lease, the C lease.
We approved that.
Yeah, there's a place on the first page of each for signatures, for switching side passes around.
All of us?
All of us,
Yeah,
3?
Yes,
Okay.
it's on the final.
Okay, next we have minutes. We have open session October 22nd, 2007. I had a few things. I like the first page because it says Nicole Davis arrived, but it doesn't have a time or anything. It just says Nicole Davis arrived. She's been.
This is just an existential
Exactly.
statement.
That's what I was wondering. Is it existential? Is it?
I have arrived.
She's arrived. She's found her,
Took 4.5 years, but she
Right,
did.
she's arrived. She's found her groove, or I don't know what else we want to write there, but, so I don't know if we can approve these. I guess we can.
Just strike that word.
Just strike the arrived. Maybe it wasn't supposed to be there. That was the only thing I had. I don't know if anybody else had anything else.
Excuse me, Jerry, you signed on the very last line.
How many lines out of this, like, six, seven?
Seven, you
Fine,
signed
seven.
to number seven, yeah, but
Well, I was just gonna have like one on top, one on the chairman and the vice chairman. I figured now, to be honest, in the first line.
Oh, that's very important to me.
I did want to say one
I
thing.
just didn't know if I
on
should
the-
do the
Yes, go ahead.
six.
On the second page, the top paragraph under the school building projects, I think we should make it specific that we were talking that night about the middle school proposal. Because we submitted 3 different proposals.
Okay. Anything else in the minutes? Okay, a motion to accept the minutes for October 22nd, 2007, open session,
As amended.
as amended.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Derby, second by Mr. Venezia. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Unanimous. Next, we have the November 13th open session meetings, meeting held at the Batchelder School. The only issue I had is we have an hour difference between the adjourn time. On the open session, we have 9:50, and then on our executive session, we say we adjourn at 10:50. I believe it was 9:50, but
Yeah, I'm sure it was. That's what I was gonna.
I'm quite sure it was 9:50. That's the only thing I had. I don't think we had
We
anything.
were out early that night,
Yes.
so custodians are still working.
Yeah.
So that's a correction to the executive
Is that right?
session. I move to accept the regular session as written.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Derby, second by Ms. Vaca. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain.
Oh, Mrs. Davis was not present, that's
Yeah.
correct. So 4 in
She
favor,
failed
1
to
abstention.
arrive.
Yes, I failed.
She failed to arrive that night. Good point. And then we have the executive session on that same night, November 13th.
Move to accept with the single amendment of the adjournment at 9:50 p.m.
Correct. A motion by Mr. Derby with the amendment, do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? An abstention?
Abstain.
4 in favor, 1 abstention.
Sorry, I'm signing stuff.
Okay, budget update, Mr. Nelson, you have a brief update on the budget?
I sure do. You have the December budget report in front of you, and I wanted to begin by pointing out that, we continue to have concerns about special education issues that will bring us well over the budget.
Great.
Those concerns are so great that we, Dr. Troughton and I asked to meet with Chair and Vice Chair of the Finance Committee last week to share with them on a more detailed basis the situation. So we're working hard to communicate this concern to town officials. At this stage, I would say it's unlikely we're going to be able to end the budget in the fiscal year in the black without some help.
Right, we definitely got, it's almost certainly the transfer, correct? I mean, I just looked through the numbers, I don't see how we're,
We're doing all we can, but again, I think communication's the key here, so we did take that unusual action. And it's premature to make that request now because you don't really know what the amount is, but it's likely that towards the end of fiscal year, we'll have to seek some assistance. That's the biggest news in the budget. There are funds that can be devoted to this problem, largely in the energy area, but it's too early in heating season to know what that situation is. I noted in the report that December's heating degree days were 6% above normal.
It's cold.
And
it's cold position tonight.
January started out good, but next week. So it's too early to really know what the situation with that's going to be. So we do monitor energy consumption very closely.
One question on the energy. I had discussed with you, the issue with the high school gymnasium.
Yes.
That seems to have been solved.
Yeah.
Was that just a glitch in the system, or?
Last summer, we installed a computerized heating server, it's called a server, but it's an old computer, right, in the high school, so that we can externally manage the zones in the high school. To the best of our knowledge, as we speak, that one of the zones were hooked up incorrectly,
Oh, okay.
off was on was off,
Okay,
and it didn't really make itself clear until the heating season began.
right.
So we had a week of.
It was, it was stifling in there, it was,
Yeah.
and I noticed the next week it was,
Well, we manually shut everything off
Oh,
until we
okay.
found out what the problem was. We shut off the blowers and we got to shut off the gym zone and just let it heat through
The rest of the
infiltration of the other
school,
zones. And we've had people in, and we preliminarily think that's the problem.
okay, great.
So we'll continue
It
tomorrow.
was designed as a home court advantage, Mel.
Right, that was the red Auerbach home court advantage. And then we went and lost to Wilmington right after we fixed the heat.
Yeah.
Sorry, Coach Casey. Anything else in the budget, Carl?
No, thank you.
All right, thanks. David, any staffing update?
No.
And no bids and donations? Okay, subcommittee updates. We have athletic subcommittee. Do you have anything from Youth at Risk?
No, we were going to introduce the youth director who is gonna
Right.
be here this evening.
Right.
She's been actively participating in the Youth at Risk, and she's a great added member to the committee.
So it's a great schedule for February vacation week activities in the newspaper this week that she's already planning for the kids, so.
Right.
Probably meet again. She can
Yes,
take some other
hopefully
time.
next meeting, yeah.
Yeah, we went over the list of middle school and high school programs. Fortunately, the parent boards still continue to fund those programs, so that's why we're able to keep them. We had a report from the sixth grade police officer who put on a forum for sixth graders on choking.
Oh, I thought we had a sixth grader who was a police officer.
No, sixth grade, we have an officer assigned by grade, and he's doing a forum on choking, which is a new, it's a dangerous activity that kids are engaging in. And then our group really had quite an active conversation based around our lack of a formal health curriculum. You know, what it would look like if we had one in our schools. And we'll continue to work on that so that one day when we do have the funds, we'll have a plan in place to put a health curriculum in grades K through 12, age appropriate.
Athletic subcommittee, we had actually a new member who'll be with us for a while, Dan Giddings, who's a graduate of, what, 2005 graduate? 2004. Dan's interning in the athletic department at the high school, and he's helping Mr. Johnson, Dave Johnson, our athletic director. So Dan was at the meeting. I think he's helped. Dave Johnson presented a draft of an athletic handbook that I think Dan has helped him put together, done some research on it. Dave Johnson also presented us with a proposal to add freshman sports in volleyball and soccer, and girls and boys soccer and volleyball. And Dr. Trout and I basically told him that this is a great plan, but given the budget constraints, it'll be one of the things that's on the, not on the restoration budget, but on the improved programs budget. I believe the cost was somewhere around $20,000 for adding 3 freshmen sports.
Is that the net cost after anticipated?
No, we didn't really look at additional fees. I'm assuming the net cost would be a little bit less. So, you know, most of these kids probably play other sports, but I think it would definitely be less. And I can tell you, it's necessary based on enrollment and the number of kids going out for those teams. And I know our goal is to provide as much extracurricular activity as we can. Opportunity, right, for these kids. So, also, Rita Mullen was there. I can report that the field turf movement in town has been re-energized. Rita's working with youth sports groups in town. She's working with Dave Johnson, who's going to be on the committee. Wayne's going to be on the committee. They're involving Representative Jones at an early stage. You know, Rita said the goal is to try to do this without spending any town money. You know, whether that's possible or not, you know, go out and look, see if there's some people in town who'd like to donate some money.
For them.
Right. And the, you know, still the primary location that we're hoping for is the high school, but I know that they're also talking about other locations in town. But the bottom line is that there's some energy going into that, and Rita's driving it, and it's good to see that come back alive, and as I said, hopefully without any funds spent. think that was the, that wrapped up what we did at the athletic subcommittee. Any other subcommittee reports?